After repeating my senior year, I got into Federal University, the same school my childhood friend attended. But he acted like I was some defective omega with underdeveloped glands and wanted nothing to do with me. Can't shake this damn groupie. He must have smelled his way here. I made a point to keep my distance and stop trying to get close to him. Later, because of my excellent grades and looks, I was elected as the freshman representative to give a speech at the opening ceremony. He scoffed at me again. What's the point of being so exceptional? He's an omega who can't even satisfy an alpha. Then, my glands went through a second presentation, and I became the Alliance's first S-class omega. My childhood friend couldn't sit still anymore. He came to find me. You've always liked me, right? I'll give you a chance to be with me. Just then, the only S-class alpha in the Alliance walked out of the room, shirtless. He hip-checked my friend out of the way, wrapped an arm around my waist, and sneered, "Buddy, who gave you the confidence to try and steal my wife?" Last year, I went into my first heat and missed the college entrance exams. After repeating a year, I successfully got into Federal University on the Capital Star. When my childhood friend, Frank, heard the news, he was incredibly cold, almost annoyed. There are so many schools. Why did you have to pick Federal University? Whatever, come if you want. But let's get this straight. Don't come looking for me on campus.
I'm Busse.
And don't go around telling everyone you know me. I don't like people gossiping about my private life. After dropping those lines, Frank and I didn't speak for the rest of the summer. On the first day of school, my parents came with me to the Capital Star. After helping me with registration and getting me settled in the dorm, they said a reluctant goodbye. My omega father held my hand, worried. "Noah, you just presented as an omega last year. If anything happens, remember to find Frank for help. You and Frank grew up together, and now you're at the same university. You should look out for each other." My alpha father looked regretful. I was hoping to take him out for dinner, but we have someone coming to look at our livestock tomorrow. I nodded quickly, smiling as I saw them off to the shuttle. The truth is, I saw Frank earlier when we were looking for the Omega apartments. Before I could even wave hello, he scowled and walked away, like he was afraid we'd call out to him. I awkwardly lowered my hand and pointed my parents toward the artificial lake in the opposite direction. Because of my high entrance scores, I was chosen as the freshman representative to speak at the opening ceremony. After the ceremony, my roommate, Sam, suggested we all go out for dinner at a private kitchen near campus. After eating, the 4 of us from my dorm went to the nearest bar. The other 3 slipped onto the dance floor like eels, looking for partners, while I sat obediently in our booth, sipping on juice. Amid the noise, I recognized a familiar voice. Frank was sitting in a booth not far away. "Hey Frank, this year's freshman speaker is from New York Star, just like you. He even went to the same high school. Do you know him?" Frank gave a lazy smirk, a casual smile playing on his lips. "Of course I know him." The alphas at the table exchanged knowing glances. "Sounds like you two are close." Frank swirled the drink in his glass. "He's been stuck to me like a little groupie since we were kids. Can't shake him off. I heard he had to repeat a year to get into Federal. You don't think he did it for you, do you?" Frank didn't answer directly, just gave a meaningful smile. The group erupted in laughter. You gotta admit, Noah is seriously good looking. The campus confessions page is flooded with his pictures. That face is gorgeous and seductive. His body is top-notch, and that beauty mark at the corner of his eye, it'd drive any alpha crazy. Frank's smile turned into a contemptuous sneer. Who cares how good-looking or smart he is? He's just a defective omega with underdeveloped glands. He can't satisfy an alpha's needs. The booth went silent for a few seconds. Then, the group of alphas shook their heads in pity. I clenched the glass in my hand, a wave of sadness washing over me. The boy from my memories was completely gone. Time rewound, frame by frame, flashing before my eyes like a movie until it froze on that one summer. Frank, staring at me with disappointment, holding his gland analysis report. The boy who was once so gentle, patient, and kind, the one who promised to protect me forever, was now buried in old memories. Sam came over and pulled me onto the dance floor. Come on, you're out to have fun. Sitting here drinking juice by yourself is so boring. He pushed me into the crowd and then disappeared again. I was jostled and bumped into a wall of muscle. A dull ache spread from the tip of my nose. The man looked down at me. You okay? I rubbed my nose and looked up, my eyes misty. He had a face with incredibly sharp, defined features. His brow was high and dark, his eye sockets slightly recessed, giving him deep-set eyes. In the dim lights of the club, the lines of his high-bridged nose and thin lips were sharp and cold. He frowned. You're crying. Does it hurt that much? Before I could answer, someone pushed me forward, and I stumbled right into his chest. A faint scent of tequila filled the air. The music was loud and overwhelming. I shook my head and said no. The man didn't hear me. He grabbed my wrist and pulled me off the dance floor. He was well over 6 feet tall, and one of his steps was like 2 of mine. I hurried to keep up with him. Are you sure you're okay? I looked up at him and said I was fine. The man nodded, and once he was sure I was all right, he turned to leave. Away from the crowd, the tequila scent was even stronger. I thought for a moment, then reached out and tugged on the corner of his shirt. Your pheromones are leaking, I reminded him quietly. You should probably take a suppressant. The man froze for a second, his dark eyes fixed on me. You can smell my pheromones? I blinked, confused. Tequila, right? It's pretty strong. After freshman military training, we started our regular classes. I chose Federal University's top program, Ordnance. Besides my required courses, I also had to take general electives. On the first day of class, I saw that Frank had also chosen military skills and practice. He frowned when he saw me and shot me a text. Why did you pick this class too? I explained that I was slow to register and it was one of the few left. Frank didn't buy it. He started lecturing me. Noah, you're not a kid anymore. You need to learn to be independent and stop clinging to me. Even though we grew up together, an alpha and an omega being too close will get people talking. I stared at my phone for a few seconds before replying. You're mistaken. A week into the class, the professor told us to form groups of 3 for our upcoming projects. Most people in the class teamed up with their roommates who they already knew. I was on my own. In a flash, everyone had a group, leaving just one open spot in Frank's group. If I went over and asked, he would definitely get the wrong idea. As I was debating what to do, Frank spoke up. Come on, over here. His tone was condescending, like he was doing me a huge favor. It rubbed me the wrong way, so I shook my head and refused. Frank shot me a look, a cold smile on his face. Noah, don't overdo it. There's a limit to playing hard to get. His roommate laughed sleazily. A stubborn little O won't ever catch an A. I was about to say something when another voice cut in. He's with me. I turned around. It was the man from the bar. Most of his face was covered by a muzzle, revealing only his cold, sharp eyes. After that little interruption, I went over to him and whispered my thanks. I'm Noah, by the way. What's your name? Owen. The man's voice was raspy. Owen, the legendary heartthrob of Federal University, a god-tier figure who was as low-key in his personal life as he was high-profile in his achievements. The campus confessions page was filled with countless posts about him. Cold, mysterious, unapproachable, and moody were the words people used to describe him. I sat next to him in class, my eyes drifting to the large muzzle on his face. The muzzle gave him an unapproachable air that was genuinely intimidating. There's nothing on my face. Owen said it suddenly, still holding his pen. Caught staring, I awkwardly touched my nose. Halfway through the lecture, the scent of tequila hit me again, powerful, rich. It was Owen's pheromones. The scent made my head feel fuzzy. Your scent is really strong. Owen said nothing, as if disagreeing with me. I kept one eye on the professor and lowered my voice. I'm serious. Can you please make sure your scent patch is on properly next time? Sitting next to you, I feel like I'm getting drunk. Owen looked at my flushed cheeks, and his expression softened. I'm wearing a patch. I even took a suppressant this morning before I left. For a moment, neither of us spoke. We just stared at each other in a strange atmosphere. I turned away and mumbled, whatever. I'll just sit farther away from you next time. He was silent for a moment, then asked, "What's your gland rating?" From a few rows away, Frank answered for me with a sneer, "He's just a defective omega with underdeveloped glands." The ordnance major had a lot of practical, hands-on classes. I was so busy in the lab that I completely forgot about my heat cycle. Sam had to remind me, "Noah, your evening jade scent is getting stronger. Isn't your heat coming up soon?" I pressed my hands to my hot cheeks and checked my calendar. He was right, it was almost time. Seeing my dazed look, Sam burst out laughing. He pinched my cheek and squished my face. The cold, brilliant scholar in public is actually a total airhead in private. The next day, I found time to go to the federal hospital. I had presented late, so my glands were underdeveloped, which meant I needed a hospital visit for every heat cycle. At the hospital, I unexpectedly ran into Owen. Through the crack in a door, I saw a group of doctors in white coats surrounding him. He was wearing his muzzle, his eyelids drooping listlessly. Sensing my gaze, Owen looked up and our eyes met. Every time I looked at him, I got caught. It was a little embarrassing. After my consultation, I went to the pharmacy window to get my prescription. Owen and I crossed paths again in the lobby. After a moment of hesitation, I waved and said hi. Owen rushed over and grabbed my arm, his dark gaze making me a little scared. The powerful pressure of an alpha washed over me, and the scent of tequila made my head spin. I tried to back away, but Owen's hand was like an iron clamp. I couldn't move at all. I stared at his strange behavior, confused. "Owen, what are you doing?" The alpha's pheromones made the glands on the back of my neck burn. Owen's eyes turned crimson. He looked at me like a hunter locking onto its prey, and it sent a chill down my spine. My arm was starting to hurt from his grip. Suddenly, Owen pulled me into a hug, pressing his muzzled face against the back of my neck. The overwhelming pheromones started to affect more and more people around us. Doctors rushed over to pull Owen away, but Owen held onto me for dear life, refusing to let go. Owen suffers from pheromone-induced mania. Because his gland rating is so high, we've never been able to find a compatible omega to soothe his pheromones. Your pheromones are incredibly attractive to him, which is why he lost control. The doctor explained as he gave me a suppressant shot. I touched my swollen glands. "But my gland rating isn't high. May I examine your glands?" I nodded and reached back to peel off my scent patch. "Your glands are underdeveloped. It's possible you could undergo a second presentation." The doctor looked at me, hesitating. Owen is the Alliance's first S-class alpha. His pheromone mania has been a problem we've been helpless against for years. We've run countless tests with omega pheromones, and the results have always been terrible. "But your pheromones, they made him lose it." I cut to the chase. "You want me to help you treat him?" The doctor nodded. "An S-class alpha is incredibly precious to the Alliance. Your pheromones can calm his mania, and his pheromones can stimulate your glands to have a second presentation. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. You should think about it." I thought for a moment. What exactly is pheromone-induced mania? During their rut, alphas can't control their pheromones. Without an omega's pheromones to soothe them, the attacks are excruciatingly painful. Was he having an attack just now? No, that wasn't an attack. He already got through this month's rut. "Can I see him?" Owen had been given a sedative and was strapped to the bed. His face was pale, completely drained of color, and his eyelids hung low. Even with pheromone neutralizer sprayed in the air, a faint scent of tequila lingered. He turned his head toward me, his face full of apology. "I'm sorry. I scared you." After weighing my options, I agreed to help the doctors with Owen's treatment. To make the treatment easier, I moved into Owen's apartment. His place was a luxury river-view flat in a high-end complex near Federal University. What happened at the hospital made me a little scared of him. Owen noticed the anxiety in my eyes. After putting on his muzzle, he locked himself in the study. "Don't worry, I don't bite." After unpacking, I was hungry. I opened the fridge and found it fully stocked with groceries. I knocked on the study door. "What is it? Can I use some of the ingredients in your fridge?" "Sure. Are you hungry? If you are, I can make enough for two." "Okay. Need any help?" I was skeptical he'd be any real help. Do you even know how? Noah, I'm not some rich kid who's never had to lift a finger. I awkwardly rubbed my nose and weakly retorted, well, you look expensive. In the kitchen, Owen and I worked together in surprising harmony. Before I presented, Frank used to come over to my house all the time. When I asked him to help in the kitchen, he'd do it reluctantly and just make a mess. Alphas don't belong in the kitchen, he'd said. I chewed him out, and he'd just sulked in silence. After that, I stopped asking. Owen's movements were quick and skilled. It was obvious he spent a lot of time in the kitchen. He handed me the washed vegetables and gently reminded me to watch the stove's flame. Owen, you're really not what I expected. After moving in with Owen, we started going to and from class together often. As more classmates saw us, rumors started to fly. Sam even tried to secretly pry for information. I had to reassure him multiple times that Owen and I were just platonic patients.
Sam sounded genuinely disappointed.
As much as I'd hate to lose a catch like you, if it's to Owen, I guess it's not so bad. Owen equals a pig. I glanced guiltily at the man in question and lowered my voice. Don't say crazy things like that. Sam was indignant. Me say crazy things? Owen is a total prize. He's hot, smart, classy, and well-mannered. You're going to fall for him eventually. I mumbled, I'm not so bad myself. That's why you two are perfect for each other. What I didn't expect was that Frank would come looking for me because of the rumors. After our elective class ended, Frank grabbed my arm and dragged me into a secluded corner. What's going on between you and Owen? His accusatory tone was really annoying. What's it to you? Frank's face fell instantly, and he practically gritted his teeth. If your dad hadn't asked me to look out for you, do you think I'd want to meddle in your business? I'll make it clear to my dad. You don't have to worry about my business anymore. Frank laughed, but it was a laugh of pure anger. Noah, do you have any idea who Owen is? The White family is one of the most powerful old money families on the Capital Star. Do you really think he'd be interested in you? He thinks you're new and fun right now, so he'll play along. But once he gets bored, you'll be nothing but a complete joke. I stared at his familiar yet strange face, a wave of sadness washing over me. To think I actually had a crush on someone who did nothing but put me down. Maybe I'm not good enough for you, Frank, but I'm not as worthless as you make me out to be. After I said my piece and left, I ran into Owen eavesdropping around the corner. He was completely calm, not at all embarrassed about being caught. On the way home, he handed me a pack of tissues. If you want to cry, just cry. Don't hold it in. I froze for a second, then looked at him, confused. Why would I cry? Isn't he the guy you like? Not really. At most, I had a bit of a crush on him when I was young and dumb. Good thing you've got a decent pair of eyes. Then, I shot Owen a dirty look. Don't think I can't tell you're insulting my taste. Owen pulled a piece of candy from his pocket to calm me down. I feel the need to defend myself. I'm not the kind of snob who looks down on people because of his family background, and I'm not some scumbag alpha who plays with Omega's feelings. When I didn't say anything, he got anxious. You don't believe me? We live under the same roof and spend all our time together outside of class. You know better than anyone that I'm not out fooling around. Owen, when you put it like that, it makes our relationship sound a little intimate. He raised an eyebrow. I'm not wrong, am I? After a moment of silence, he brought it up again. He mentioned your dad. What's the deal between you two? Childhood friends? I sighed and nodded wearily. He is my childhood friend. He used to be really nice to me, but as soon as he found out I presented as a defective Omega, his whole attitude changed. He acts like he's terrified I'll latch onto him. Owen's review was scathing. The guy's not just a jerk, his values are totally messed up. Good thing you cut your losses. You should probably stay away from him from now on. Mid-semester, my Alpha and Omega fathers came to the Capital Star on business and stopped by to see me. By the time I got the message, they had already booked a private room at a restaurant. I rushed over and was surprised to see Frank there too. My Omega father saw the confusion in my eyes and explained, "Your auntie asked us to bring some things for Frank, so we thought we'd invite him out for a meal with us." I glanced over, and sure enough, on the chair next to Frank was a container of food his mom had made. My Omega father misunderstood my look and teased me with a smile. Don't be jealous. Your auntie made a portion for you too. Frank put on an act, chatting politely with my alpha father about how he'd been. I rolled my eyes internally and sat down with a fake smile. During the meal, my alpha father started laughing as he reminisced about my and Frank's childhood antics. When you two played house as kids, you always had to be the husbands. If we didn't let you be a couple, you'd both just bawl your eyes out. I remember Noah, with a runny nose, declaring he was going to marry his big brother Frank when he grew up. I was so mortified by this story that I quickly changed the subject. We were just kids talking nonsense. Frank has always been like a big brother to me. When he gets married, I'll definitely give him a big wedding gift. I don't know what words set Frank off, but his face suddenly darkened. My Omega father saw what was happening and frantically kicked my alpha father under the table, shooting him a look to shut up. When I went to the restroom mid-meal, Frank followed me. He cornered me in the hallway, his dark eyes filled with rage. Noah, now that you've got Owen, you can't wait to cut ties with me. Can you? I stomped on his foot hard, and while he was wincing in pain, I broke free. What does he have to do with us? What? Does comparing yourself to Owen make you feel insecure? He'd been hit where it hurt. Frank's eyes locked onto me like he wanted to kill me. Me insecure? He should be the one who's insecure, picking up the defective Omega I didn't even want. I really wanted to slap this psycho across the face. If you despise me so much, then why are you so angry right now? You only get angry if you care. Don't tell me you actually like me. Frank's pupils shrank, and a flicker of confusion and helplessness crossed his face before he quickly retorted. Why would I ever like a defective Omega with underdeveloped glands like you? Frank, my life has nothing to do with you, and I won't use our childhood friendship to bother you, so you can stop acting like a lunatic around me. He looked like he'd just heard the funniest joke, his tone dripping with superiority. Not bother me? Noah, didn't you come to Federal University just for me? For a second, I thought I was hearing things. I repeated a year because my presentation screwed up my SATs. I went to Federal University because my grades were good enough. What the hell did that have to do with him? He was so full of himself. Frank, you really have no shame. With my scores, I could have gone to any university I wanted. I didn't need to do it for anyone. I looked him up and down. You're not enough to be my motivation. A flash of panic crossed his face, but he quickly regained his composure and smirked. Noah, are you telling me you never liked me? Even if I did, it was a crush at most. And you weren't the only one I had a crush on. The expression on Frank's face froze. The smugness in his eyes was completely extinguished. He thought I was in love with him. He used my supposed feelings to look down on me, to judge me. But now, that foundation he'd built his confidence on had crumbled. His baseless sense of superiority had come crashing down. After a long silence, he struggled to speak.
Impossible.
I just smiled and added, sorry to have let you think otherwise for so many years. After the dinner, I explained the situation with Frank to my Omega father. My Omega father stroked my head. I respect all your decisions. No matter what you do, never let yourself be wronged or hurt. I nodded, saw them back to their hotel, and promised to set up a time for them to meet Owen. When I got home, Owen could tell something was off. What's wrong? Just had a fight with an idiot. I thought about it and decided to vent to him. Can you believe some people use someone else's affection as a license to be superior, then just squander it and hurt them? Don't you think there's something wrong with people like that? Owen was right there with me. Anyone who does that is a total scumbag who'll get what's coming to them. They'll just screw themselves over in the end. He pulled me up from the sofa. Don't be angry. Let's go do something fun. Owen took me to a shooting range and pointed at the red bullseye. Pretend that's Frank and just let loose. A nice idea in theory, but reality was a different story. After several attempts, I was either missing the target completely or on my way to missing it. Owen couldn't watch anymore and came over to help me himself. His tall frame completely enveloped me. The size difference between an alpha and an omega was on full display. Owen's large hands covered mine, correcting my grip on the gun. His face was only an inch from mine. When he spoke, his breath tickled my cheek. It wasn't just my face that was tingling, it was my heart, which was beating like crazy. Back straight, hands steady, eyes on the target. Perfect bullseye. Owen turned his head and grinned at me. His dark, deep eyes were sparkling. My heart felt like it had been zapped by electricity, a pleasant numbness spreading through me. My Omega father was still worried after learning about my patient relationship with Owen. He believed alphas were uncontrollable and was afraid I'd get hurt. Even though they'd met Owen over a video call, they insisted on meeting him in person while they were on the Capital Star. Owen was respectful but not subservient, answering all their questions without trying to hide anything about his condition. When their questions started getting too personal, I quickly cut in. Okay, you're interrogating him like he's a criminal. Owen smiled graciously. Not at all. I'm having a great chat with both of you. If I were in your shoes, I'd be asking even more questions, not fewer. I grumbled to myself that he didn't appreciate a good thing when he saw it. My alpha father looked at him with clear admiration. My Omega father's eyes darted back and forth between Owen and me. After taking them back to their hotel, I couldn't help but tease Owen. You're pretty good at charming elders. I never realized you were so smooth. Owen wasn't the least bit embarrassed. Thanks for the compliment. I am, after all, trying to win over the family of the prize I've got my eye on. I gave him a playful glare. If I'm the prize, then you're the pig. He burst out laughing and took a moment to recover. I've already met your parents. When are you going to meet mine? That sounds a little forward. Hey, your parents are worried you'll get hurt. My parents are worried I'll get hurt too. I rolled up my sleeves and flexed my bicep. They have good reason to be. Owen laughed even harder. After that dinner, Noah's words echoed relentlessly in Frank's mind. He silently flipped through old photos of the two of them as kids. How could Noah have never liked him? The way Noah smiled at him was so sweet, his dark eyes shining and wet. His roommate saw his dejected state. What's with the "I just got dumped" look? Frank's fingers paused. He shot his roommate a dark look but didn't answer. His roommate's expression froze, realizing he'd said the wrong thing and not knowing how to fix it. After a long silence, his curiosity got the better of him. Who was it? Noah. His roommate's mouth moved faster than his brain. Didn't you look down on him? You said it didn't matter how good-looking or smart he was. Frank's already pale face went completely blank, his eyes filled with confusion. Yeah. I was the one who didn't want him first. His roommate didn't understand his gloominess and asked tentatively, "And now he doesn't want you?" Frank lowered his eyes. He said he only ever had a crush on me. So, you're sad and upset because he said he doesn't like you. Hit right on the mark, Frank stayed silent. You were the one who said you didn't like him first, and now you're the one who's upset. Isn't that a little hypocritical? Frank's head sank even lower. If you like him, you should go after him. You probably won't succeed, but it's better than not even trying. I never said I liked him. His roommate's expression became indescribable. You're so stubborn you could hold up the sky with that mouth of yours. Frank sent me a message saying he wanted to talk. I was in the study working on a group project with Owen when I got it. Owen glanced at the message. You haven't blocked him yet? Our parents all know each other. It'd be awkward to block him. So I just muted him. Owen grunted, clearly a little unhappy. Unable to get a meeting with me, Frank started waiting for me outside the apartment building. I couldn't figure out why. I was just speechless. I had already said everything there was to say. Why was he still showing up and being so annoying? Frank rushed up and grabbed my arm. The strong smell of alcohol on him made me wrinkle my nose. Noah. I tried to shake his hand off, but his grip was like an iron clamp. I couldn't move. My struggling seemed to provoke him. Frank hugged me tightly, ignoring my resistance. Afraid I would get away, he even released his alpha pheromones to pressure me. Noah, don't push me away. The intense alpha pheromones made my legs go weak, my strength draining away. An alpha who has lost control is extremely dangerous for an omega. I steadied myself, forcing myself to stay calm. Frank, what do you want from me? His bloodshot eyes stared at me. My roommate said I like you. I said I didn't, but he didn't believe me, I felt a wave of exasperation. But these past few days, seeing you and Owen together all the time, I've been going crazy with jealousy. I have to admit he was right. Frank cupped my face and tried to kiss me. Noah, I like you. I pushed against him, desperately trying to get away. My resistance completely enraged Frank. His alpha pheromones washed over me like a tidal wave. I hated the smell, but my body betrayed me, growing hot and restless. Under the biological response, my body craved an alpha's soothing pheromones. Frank's voice was suppressed, thick with a terrifying possessiveness. Once I mark you, you'll be mine. No one can ever take you away. As he spoke, he reached for the blocker patch on the back of my neck. In the middle of the struggle, the sickening pheromones suddenly vanished, replaced by the commanding scent of tequila. The tequila was filled with an oppressive, aggressive power that was terrifying. It was the absolute dominance of an S-class alpha. Frank's pupils contracted violently. He looked at Owen in terror and scrambled backward. Owen reached out and caught me as I fell. The moment I saw Owen, my heart settled. A deep sense of security washed over me, and I was no longer afraid. Just before my eyes closed, I heard that beautiful voice say, "Don't be scared. I'm here." When I opened my eyes again, I was in a hospital bed. The doctor was giving instructions to Owen, who kept reminding the doctor to lower his voice. The doctor looked exasperated. "I never thought you'd be like this when you're in love." Owen corrected him, "We're not together yet." The doctor teased him, "So you haven't won him over yet." Before leaving the room, the doctor whispered something in Owen's ear. The voice was quiet, but I heard it perfectly. "He's awake." He heard everything we just said. Hearing that, Owen turned around. I opened my eyes. Our gazes locked. Caught. The tips of his ears turned pink, and his expression became a little awkward. "Are you feeling uncomfortable anywhere?" I shook my head. The wind lifted the white curtains. I could hear my own heartbeat, loud as a drum. I smiled, a sparkle in my eyes. "Owen, you like me?" Owen's face turned red, his voice slightly hoarse. "Yeah." "Noah, I like you." Even though I expected it, his answer still made my lips curl into an uncontrollable smile. What a coincidence. "I like you too." As soon as I posted our relationship status, Sam sent me a message. Men. Knew it all along. Remembering our chat, I looked up and studied Owen closely. Owen noticed my gaze and raised an eyebrow at me. My roommate said I'm a sweet, innocent lamb, and you're the wolf who snatched me up. Owen came over, cupped my face, and kissed the corner of my mouth. His eyes were dark as he stared at me. "This is snatching." I looked at his sharp, chiseled face, swallowed hard, and tugged his collar down to kiss him properly. Owen's hand went to the back of my head, turning the tables and taking control. The sound of swallowing filled the air. Time seemed to stretch and slow down, as if we were the only two people in the world. The scents of tequila and evening jade blended together in perfect harmony. A month into our relationship, Owen's rut arrived on schedule. He had tied himself to the headboard with a bedsheet. The veins on his neck were bulging, and his bangs were soaked with sweat. The moment I walked into the room, his alpha pheromones enveloped me. Put on my muzzle. The buckle clicked shut. My evening jade scent wafted out, wrapping around Owen with a soothing touch. Owen closed his eyes and leaned back against the bed, his hands gripping the sheets tightly. "I'm sorry. I'm scaring you." I shook my head, my heart aching for him. During his rut, Owen had no appetite and would only consume energy supplements. His eyes were crimson, and he would howl like a caged animal in pain. He only calmed down a little when I was beside him, releasing my pheromones to soothe him. My heart ached for him. I unfastened his muzzle, peeled off my scent patch, and exposed the vulnerable, tempting glands on my neck. "If I let you bite me, will you feel better?" Owen's eyes locked onto me. With his last shred of sanity, he pushed me away. "You'll regret this." I didn't listen. "I trust you not to hurt me." His sharp canines pierced the back of my neck, and his alpha pheromones slowly flooded my body. I collapsed against him, weak and numb, my vision unfocused. It was a completely new experience. Even after the temporary mark, Owen wasn't satisfied. He kissed me roughly, a fierce, tangled mess of lips and tongues as he greedily drank in the scent of my pheromones. Our high compatibility made it impossible for me to refuse him. I could only give in. Our breathing grew heavier. The world spun, and I was thrown onto the soft bed. Owen was silhouetted against the light, his gaze on me like a predator staring at its prey. My face flushed, and I swallowed hard, looking up at him. Owen. Throughout his rut, Owen was like an uncaged beast, turning me over and over again. Sweat and tears mixed on the damp sheets, staining them a darker shade. The scent of tequila clung to me tightly. Under the repeated marking, my body began to change. My glands grew soft and hot, and my evening jade scent became purer, more potent. Owen became addicted to my pheromones, clinging to me day and night, never letting me out of his sight. 7 days later, a fully recovered Owen stared at me in bed, his face a mask of guilt. I reached out from under the covers, asking for a hug. If I wasn't willing, no one could have forced me. Owen, this was my choice. Owen held me tightly, his voice hoarse. Noah, thank you for loving me. The experience triggered my second presentation. When the test results came back, I stared at the S-class rating, unable to process it. Owen smiled. We're a match made in heaven. Not long after my second presentation, it was time for final exams. After finals, I went home for the summer, and Owen and I could only talk online. My Omega father loved to tease me, always asking how far things had progressed with Owen. I was too embarrassed to tell him the truth and would just change the subject. One day, I was out grocery shopping, chatting with Owen on my way home. Noah, turn around. I turned, disbelieving. Owen was standing not far away, a smile in his eyes. I ran and threw myself into his arms, my heart turning to mush as I whined his name affectionately. Owen's voice was soft. I missed you so much, so I came. It was dinner time, so Owen shamelessly followed me home. After dinner, my Omega father prepared the guest room for Owen to stay the night. My Alpha father pulled me aside, looking serious as he told me to lock my door. I rubbed my nose, too embarrassed to admit I'd already been devoured down to the last crumb. The door was locked, but Owen just climbed through the window. He tilted my chin up, pinning me against the wall and kissing me. His sharp teeth nipped at my vulnerable neck. Before I lost my senses completely, I pushed him away. Behave yourself. This is my house. My dad just told me to lock the door. Owen looked at me with puppy dog eyes. I didn't have the heart to kick him out, just told him to be back in his own room before my dad woke up. The next morning, he was already gone when I woke up. After washing up, I went downstairs to see Owen and Frank standing at the door, facing off like they were about to go to war. Buddy, who gave you the confidence to try and steal my wife? Seeing me come down, Owen swaggered over, wrapped an arm around my waist, and declared his ownership. I frowned, my tone unwelcoming. What are you doing at my house? Frank opened his mouth, struggling to get the words out. I came to apologize. The last incident had landed him in an alpha disciplinary facility for a few months. I don't accept. You can leave now. Frank wouldn't move, so Owen hip checked him out the door and warned him coldly, stop sniffing around other people's property. I took Owen around to all the places where I grew up. At every spot, I shared stories that had shaped me. He listened patiently, handing me water when my throat got dry. Since Frank and I grew up together, it was impossible not to mention him when talking about the past. Owen held my hand and sighed. Good thing he was blind and didn't recognize a diamond when he saw one. Seeing he was getting jealous, I soothed him. That chapter is long over. From now on, you're the one by my side. On the day of our university graduation, Owen proposed to me at the ceremony. Under the sun, Owen knelt on one knee and put the ring on my finger. Sam laughed at him for being in such a rush. Owen held me like a precious treasure and admitted freely, he's too amazing. If I don't lock him down now, I'm afraid someone will steal him away. Owen's mom smiled and said, Noah, if he ever dares to bully you, you come straight to us. The 5 of us will take turns beating him up. I nodded, leaned close to Owen's ear, and reminded him again, "You hear that? You better be good to me from now on." Owen couldn't help but laugh. When we took our graduation photos, Owen and I stood in the middle with both our parents standing behind us. The sun was bright, and our smiles were brilliant.